I really didn't look like myself. I looked like an operated doll or something.
Thousands are scammed by AI voices mimicking loved ones in emergencies.
TikTok is facing currently the challenge of actually staying on the phones in the United States.
Welcome to our weekly tech review, where we explore the latest trends, news and updates from the world of technologies like VR, AR, blockchain, space technologies, AI, social media or consumer electronics. Whether you're a seasoned innovation expert or just starting in tech, this podcast is the perfect source for staying up to date with the constantly changing world of technology. On camera 3 today we have Vincent. On camera 2, this is Henrike. On camera 1, hi, this is me, I'm Tarek. Tech Review is a collaboration of Ideas Engineering, Free Tech Academy, and Update. You can watch all the episodes on YouTube or listen to us on all major podcast platforms such as Spotify and Apple Podcast while you work out, drive, or maybe even travel through space. So let's jump directly to the news. Let's start with Henrike.
All right, so I saw this article, and although it's nothing new that you can use filters on TikTok, it's also nothing new that they get more and more realistic, and especially when it comes to beauty filters, it sets some dangerous standards and has an impact on the self-awareness, especially of young people. But I still thought I'd bring this article because the mentioned bold glamour filter really got viral in the past weeks and is actually one of the most impressive effects that you can see right now on TikTok. It appears to be an early example of an AI-powered tool, although TikTok has not yet confirmed that it is in fact AI-powered, but it makes face transformation more difficult to actually detect and really transforms the look of people in a much more realistic way. Traditionally, those filters are just faces that filters put on faces like onto exaggerated 3D models, and this is now likely to be based on generative adversarial networks to achieve these impressive results in the end. There's also, if you scroll further down, there's also a video included where someone actually explains the difference between traditional and machine learning filters a bit more in depth than I do right now. But it's, the technology itself that's also mentioned in the article is not groundbreaking, but to actually have this, on a mobile device in such a way that it's you really do not see glitches right away, like really minimal. You put your hands across your face and it really looks it's really realistic. I actually stopped myself from my TikTok detox to try it out myself, and it's
so you were serious when you said you're on TikTok because of research. I thought that was code for something.
It was no joke, Tarek. I really just logged in yesterday to have a try, and I mean, I really didn't look like myself. I looked like an operated doll or something, not like myself at all. But still, it was impressive, as also mentioned in the article, how, if I put stuff in front of my face, you didn't see any glitches at all, actually. So this is why I also, it's important to still talk about how far these technologies come, not just, that they further develop, but also like the danger that comes with it, as said, because I mean, younger people, if you see just those pretty faces everywhere and you cannot really distinguish, is it a filter, is it real? It truly has an impact on your self-esteem, on your self-awareness, etc. Because there's also one video included in this article where one of those TikTok influencers explains she's using this filter, and she actually, how you perceive yourself being ugly once you remove the filter. Because then all of a sudden you have real skin, you do not have those doll lips, you do not have those perfect eyebrows, whatever. And it really has an effect on you, and probably the younger you are, the more dangerous it is, but still people our age, I mean, it has an effect on us. So yeah, that's why I thought this is worth mentioning here, because it will be more and more difficult to actually identify, is someone using a filter? Is that, really the beauty standard now? And yeah, it's crazy how far they are right now.
I'm not sure if you ever did one of these app-based identification procedures for opening up a bank account or something, where you have a call on a video chat and you have to hold your ID into the camera and then hold your hand in front of the ID to prove that it's really there and move it so that light is reflected. And the same thing with your face, where they say, now move your hand in front of your face exactly to prove that you are not AI generated or wear some kind of filter. But this will be void in the future, right? Because in the future, obviously, AI technology will be fast and powerful enough to actually deal with this. I can move my hand in front of my face and still use this whatever filter and look like Arnold Schwarzenegger or someone. That's really, really important to know.
Totally.
Yeah, and maybe this is also a interesting, again, bridge between a true deepfake and a full human created video, because here we again see how, I mean, we all know deepfakes. Some of them are better, some of them are worse. Yes, for video, obviously, you need much more, and you need to go and be scanned from 365 degrees and everything, 360 degrees and everything. And here, this could be something like a bridge technology where you have less people doing the job of more, because you have such a very realistic filter doing the job for you.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, this is, of course, now the professional point of view. What you said, Henrik, in the beginning is, of course, like the psychological effect. If the quality is so good that you never remove it, you have it like a default on your phone, your default in TikTok or wherever, then it is true that all of the content that you're producing is totally based on a fake image. Yeah, and you're totally right. If I start doing this in very young age, then this might cause some real disturbance in your self-image, and you will not be able to look into a mirror anymore unless we develop like smart mirrors that do exactly this thing. Whenever you look into the mirror, you see the deepfake version of yourself. Wait a minute. This sounds like a brilliant marketing idea, a brilliant product idea. Let's build this.
No, but it's really like, it creates such a really different persona. Like I can send you guys the pictures I took, like with the filter and without. It's a completely different person there. So if I would create a channel just using, as you said, by default, this filter, would be completely different person.
Yeah. I will absolutely try this as well. I want to see how I look like if I'm beautiful.
And imagine...
You are beautiful.
I was just fishing. Oh, you guys.
And it worked.
Imagine what this can do with the right AI, also for the surroundings. What can it do in the right when the right artificially created background is there? What can it do when you, for example, we saw on TikTok recently all those voice changing assistant that made possible Minecraft videos between Barack Obama and Donald Trump. And imagine when now all of these very interesting projects get combined into something completely different. I'm very much looking forward to it. Again, I think we will see a lot of newly created videos there, and I think especially those kind of technologies very soon-ish will also hold entrance into more professional areas than just the world of social media.
Right. Okay.
Also porn, yes, Tarek, you asked me that. I think also for porn this will be very
Yeah, this goes without saying. This is probably already in the making. I'm pretty sure this is one of the first use cases that this will be implemented in.
That probably was implemented in, probably
Already,
it
right,
starts
right.
with that, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. We definitely have to do some research in this area.
Go for it, Tarek, go for it.
We are researchers. This is what we do.
It's science, and I'm pretty sure the question is if doctors like it.
If our tech review is valuable for you, please give us feedback with a like or a comment. That would help us tremendously and it wouldn't cost you anything. And if you don't want to miss the next episode, just click on the subscribe button. And now, back to the news. All right, let's jump to the next article. Yeah, now my soundboard is missing. Like, where's my button to press? Now, this.
Yeah, you made it. It feels like talking to an AI because
Right.
you you faked it perfectly.
And now, this.
Barely recognizable. So the next article comes from me, and this actually matches perfectly the topic of today. We did not talk about this previously, but I found this article on Ars Technica about how thousands are scammed by AI voices mimicking loved ones in emergencies. AI voice-generated software can convincingly mimic a person's voice with just a few seconds of audio input. And scammers are using this AI-generated voices to prey on vulnerable people, often the elderly, and scam them out of thousands of dollars. Imposters are already scamming with these AI-generated voices in the United States for, I think, the second highest losses for those who were targeted in 2022. And it is very challenging for authorities to crack down these cases because they can run this from anywhere in the world. And it's very hard to trace these calls and identify these scammers and somehow retrieve these funds. And so the only way is actually to raise awareness of scams relying on AI voice simulators, so that people can be very curious and very careful whenever someone calls them and asks for money. And of course, some companies who are releasing these AI products without fully knowing the risks involved, and so the courts and regulators are releasing these AI guidelines for a couple of years now, telling these companies to try to do more good than harm. But as we all know, this is not really effective, telling companies to try to do better. And all of these guidelines are just guidelines. And so you might have heard my talk last year about ethical AI, where we talked exactly about these cases where all these companies are following these ethical AI guidelines, but in the end, it's not really binding. And on the other hand, it's really hard to control what consumers are doing with your software. And so it's probably true that the only way to protect ourselves against these things is to educate people, the elderly, and of course, like the young people, of these dangers. And it's not only deepfake faces that we have to challenge, but also deepfake voices, where I would imagine that it's even easier to produce than like a full face. But if we combine those two articles into one topic, then this means in the future we will very soon be at the point where we have a video call with someone with a deepfake real-time voice and a real-time deepfake face, and you talk directly to Tom Cruise with Tom Cruise voice and Tom Cruise face, right? And so this will be really, really hard to distinguish. And then I don't know if there will be like a future watermark or something that is pinned to your IP address or something that proves that you are who you are, or something like a sophisticated AI detector or something. Because it really sounds like that we enter this age where voice and video can be faked in real time in such a good quality that we have to assume it will be misused at any point of time. Yeah. And so this is really, really interesting. And I was especially scared about this number. I was not aware that this is actually the second highest damage in terms of fraud in the United States, where people are already using deepfake voices. In the past, these scams where people are sending like text messages or something, tricking someone believing that a different person is on the other hand, and this is very cheap because they do not have to do anything. They just say, I lost my phone, this is my new number, I am, I don't know, your son or something. Yeah, and the rest is just make-believe. But in this case, they are literally calling and saying, Mom, I need money. And this is maybe actually the voice of the son.
Yeah, and I mean, in the end, it's also probably not just the voice, as we learned from your article. It's not just the face, as we saw in the other one. If then also tone of voice comes into play, it's, like what makes you as the real Tarek then unique, that people who talk to you, see you in a video call, whatever, really know, okay, this is Tarek and this is not a scam. It's just getting harder and harder. So yeah, that's really...
Yeah, and the one thing is, of
crazy.
course, in the past, all these general scammers, they try to find someone who falls for this trick. But if you really do this in a targeted way and you do some research and you have training material and maybe even you have the CV of this person and you know where he went to school, how many siblings this person has and these things. So you have like a good source material for knowledge, maybe even maybe not the most private information, but enough to actually sound like this person. Yeah. So it will be very, very dangerous to be a celebrity where a lot of people know your private life.
Yeah. What I think would be very interesting is right now Google is working on, and I'm sure also a lot of other tech companies are working on distinguishing text that was AI created by text that was non-AI created and humanly created. And I'm pretty sure, or not sure, but it would be very interesting to see, and it will be interesting to see this development, if we will see that there is a certain detection of, say, an AI-created voice or an AI-created video feed that in the end goes out to you. So, for example, I can definitely see that, for example, this is a FaceTime feature this sounds like an Apple feature to me, where Apple is, this is really security, this is dangerous for security reasons, but FaceTime now detects if it's an AI call or something like that. I would be very interested to know where this is heading, because I'm pretty sure that in the end we will see something like this. I mean, it's a very basic, think of email, a much easier tool of communication. And there's, at one point, we have the spam filter. And when you look and you can train the spam filter and add sources and that kind of stuff. And spam filters sound easy, are very sophisticated by now. I think this is the next version of spam filter, because of course the spam gets more sophisticated and therefore our filters are getting more sophisticated.
Right. Yeah, it sounds scary having a phone of the future in your hand, and the phone has like green or red lights indicating the probability of the person being fake on the other hand, or on the other side. You're totally right. My spam filter sends like headers or something, notifications. Careful, we believe this might be spam. This is directly written into the email, and I could imagine they could do this. They will do this as well in Teams calls or something. Then like an indicator, carefully, this could be a scam call or something.
Or maybe not a scam call, but I'm pretty sure, for example, that when a Teams call, a whatever digital call detects that the source is not a direct camera, but maybe the video source is a simulated camera in a system, right? And this comes through the SSL connection between the two the points of contact, or the points of contact in general, not only two. Then I think we see that we will see that this will be a new, red light on our display. Yeah. Indicating whatever in that moment, I don't know.
Exactly. And I'm pretty sure that they will do this thing with pattern recognition, for example, if you regularly receive video calls, but they are all from the same city based on the IP address. And then suddenly you get a call from Russia, let's say Russia, from the IP ranges of Russia. This would already raise like a attention flag, right? And if then also there's a virtual camera included, those are all indicators that something is wrong in here. And it might actually be that I call from Russia because I am on vacation or something, then this might the other person might ignore this. But yeah, probably it's exactly with like as we do it with intrusion detection systems or spam filters today.
I know we're springing the time. We're really much going across the time frame right now. But imagine when we're looking at crowd data, the AI will be potentially able to understand this is this specific person because it was saved in your phone. Say, Tarek, you're saved in my phone as a contact. You're calling me. The AI understands exactly how you talk, and then it will realize that the talking pattern is different. It will light up that maybe this call might be fake. I mean, the possibilities are endless because, unfortunately, the dangers are endless there. Right now.
And this is, of course, a nightmare for privacy regulators, because in order to learn your real self, the phone or Microsoft or whoever needs to collect all of this data about you to be able to distinguish you from a fake you in the future. But for this, they have to collect all the sensible information that you actually don't want to give them.
But I think that we are maybe not in danger there that much, because when you look at how Apple, for example, implemented eye tracking or implemented the finger sensor analysis, that all happened via machine learning on the phone. So I'm not saying it is the same, because of course you need to, obviously if you change your Apple ID, your device, for example, transfer your Apple ID, doesn't mean that all of these learnings have to be renewed. That doesn't make sense. But I think that there are solutions for this, even though all that to the side, it will be a nightmare for privacy regulations.
Right.
And now, this.
So this is a very interesting article by The Information about TikTok, and it is about TikTok's current situation in the United States. As you know, we spoke about it many times. TikTok is facing currently the challenge of actually staying on the phones in the United States / using servers in the United States, being available in the United States because of privacy, sensitive privacy matters that TikTok is not attending as the US government would like it to. Now the situation is getting more critical. Technically, President Biden could at any point in time launch or sign the decree to ban TikTok from the United States. They are not currently. There is a survival plan, and this survival plan is currently being looked into. And the core idea is that Oracle is taking care of all the server and data movements in the United States, and all of it will be stored in the United States, and then will submit new versions of the TikTok app, updates, security improvements, new features, all of that to the App Store of Apple and Google. Now, here is the issue. Apple and Google technically are not allowing that at the moment. And now it means that either Google and Apple would, and nobody knows what will happen, because Google and Apple on purpose are not commenting on that yet. It means that TikTok either needs to try it, but it might be that that Apple and Google then will not allow a third party submitting a new version of a specific app. In that moment, obviously, all of it goes to waste. But on the other hand, maybe they won't object it. However, it is not very clear in the regulations, and therefore it could be possible that Apple and Google would have to make an exception just for TikTok, which is very unlikely. There's more. There's much more. The issues for TikTok, they just start there, because obviously this plan needs to be approved by the US government, and for that, actually, and I think that's the most interesting point here, for that, the code of TikTok will be reviewed by TikTok, by Oracle, and by somebody third, like a third-party company that is based in the United States, specialists that are unbiased. And that never happened before. This is the very first time, and actually, it is the very first time something like that is happening to a social media platform at all. So there is no best practice to follow. There is no past sentence where this had to be done in order to to move forward in the process or anything. And there it becomes interesting, because it's getting interesting, because not only TikTok has to face issues now that are out of their hands, looking at Apple and Google and the regulators on the governmental side. TikTok has to completely open up. And that, of course, means they will face a lot of challenges if the algorithm is in the end working differently than actually suggested in all of the briefings before. But second of all, this means that in the end, the Chinese government would need to sign and allow a US company to look directly into the code written by ByteDance. And that has never happened before. And the Chinese government actually is very much against it, because they see, or they view, code also as a export of goods. So it faces a lot of difficulties. Nobody really knows what will happen. And it is very, very interesting to see that, because to me, it felt very much like in the past few weeks, the fight of TikTok in the United States, it's over, it will go its way, they will find an agreement with Oracle and the government, it's going to be fine. The reality is, there are a lot of hurdles to pass in order to actually keep TikTok in the United States. And to finish my very long monologue off, I hope it fails and it will be banned.
Yeah, this is like a never-ending story, I think, right? I feel we talk about this topic for years now, and somehow it's not possible to get a grip on what the TikTok app is actually doing. I love TikTok, no question about that. But I thought until now they would have solved this transparency and ownership issue. I mean, it was in Trump's times, right? Like in 2020 or 2019 or something, where they talked
21.
about 21. Okay, in 2021, when they talked about let's have Oracle take over or something like that, at least on the market outside of China. And I thought this was resolved until now. And I have no idea if this will be able to be solved somehow in the future.
No, and specifically last argument is very interesting, because it will show the color of the intentions also of ByteDance, and in the end of the Chinese influence, the governmental influence in ByteDance and TikTok. Because it is true, it is an export of goods, and if somebody grabs the data of this algorithm, the app potentially is ruined. So. And also the principles of the Chinese Communist government and party are hurt. So it is really interesting to see if the Chinese government actually will allow that. But it looks like that the United States will require that in order to allow it. They require a certification that standards are matched in order to allow the app to stay. And in the end, therefore, it's not a conflict of tech and privacy regulations. It's a direct conflict of political systems and principles.
Right. And of course, if you say the Chinese, they have a problem with having their code being reviewed by the Americans, it might it might mean that they actually try to hide certain things. Yeah. And if I think about the number of people using this app and the number of videos that are uploaded there, if it's actually true that they have systems based on all of this knowledge and tracking data and everything, then yeah, that's a lot of data from the past years.
I'm just thinking of how many times the Chinese government, through ByteDance, through TikTok, has lied to us about this.
That's true.
I cannot state if the algorithm now has changed or is in order to change so that it matches our data privacy regulations. If I had to bet on it, I am sure that this algorithm and the way it's constructed still serves a higher purpose that leads back to China.
Yeah, and back then when Trump was talking about forbidding TikTok, I absolutely thought this is overreaction and this is completely out of bounds. but it seems that this might in the end be the only way to get a grip on it. And I don't want to I want this to happen. No, sorry, I don't want this to happen this way. But yeah, the alternatives don't seem to work. Yeah, I already see like Google and Facebook sitting there just waiting for this app to disappear because they want Instagram and YouTube Shorts finally to take off. And this will only happen if TikTok disappears from the Western markets. All right. Thank you for your amazing articles. I'm always looking forward to this meeting, and see you in 1 week. Bye.
Bye.